What's up, internet? My name's Ori. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. You like this video, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. You'll never miss a video. You'll never miss a stream. Today is Friday, September 2nd. It's day 59 inside the Big Brother house. And we're going to break down everything that happened on the live episode last night, as well as on the live feeds afterwards. And there's a lot to go over. Who won HOH, what the plans are this week, also, what the zings were. I have a little bit of a good idea of what they are, not 100%, but we're going to run down everything. First, let's kind of talk about the episode and what happened prior to the episode on the feeds. Not much. Not much prior to the episode. It was very chill. Kyle was kind of practicing his speech, but other than that, nothing really happened. On the show, let's kind of talk about how I felt it really went. Listen, I think the show overall did a pretty good job of being fair to what happened with the story as much as they really could while leaving some stuff out. So we started the episode with the whole Kyle drama and like where we picked off with it being revealed. And then it did show what happened during the movie, but just kind of out of order. So they showed his meeting with Brittany, and then they showed his meeting with Monte and Terrance up in the have-not room while the movie was going on. And I don't know. I feel like maybe some things here were left out because it wasn't as dramatic as the house guests were saying during their retellings. Maybe they're just exaggerating like they do. But even during the house meeting, there wasn't really the raised voices and the emotion that we really kind of expected and what we had heard them kind of say in their retellings of it. So I think they either just cut a lot of that out to make it seem a little bit more civil, or maybe they just exaggerated. I'm not sure. I don't think we'll ever 100% know until maybe like postseason interviews, and then we'll get some more insight on what actually happened during those hours. Other than that, again, I think it was pretty fair where they showed Kyle's words, his actions, and then they also showed how Michael and Brittany used this for a game. And was it a perfect edit? No, but I think overall they did do a good job of hitting all the points they needed to. I will say, I think Terrance got a great edit in this. Everything he kind of said really made him seem like someone who understood all sides of it, where he really went in on Kyle saying like, you lied to me and made me send Joseph home when it should have been you. And then during the house meeting, he called Michael and Brittany out and was like, look, what he did was messed up, but you two, you're also accountable for holding this information, and it's not right. So I feel like maybe they might have cut some stuff because Terrance was definitely going around and apologizing a lot afterwards, just kind of saying how he got very heated, but it didn't seem like he got that heated in the edit. So I think they really made that cut down pretty good. Other than that, we jump into the vote. We also, the veto meeting. The veto meeting was super short and cut because I know for a fact Brittany said like, oh, I said this and that, and like Kyle said this and that. So they made that like the quickest veto meeting ever. It was, yep, I used the veto. Kyle, you're up. Okay, let's move on to the vote. We get to the vote. It was 5-0, completely unanimous. Kyle left. Julie didn't go too hard in on him. I haven't seen the extended interview yet with him, and also I'm kind of curious what the jury interviews are going to be like for his exit interviews, so we'll see how that all goes. And then we jump into HOH time. It's Zingbot, which is the first time we've ever had Zingbot be an HOH competition. It was called Burning Bot. They had these big puzzles they had to make that were like two-sided puzzles, and they had to kind of transfer the pieces by running back and forth first. And then we didn't see the end of that competition. We were going to find that out on Sunday and kind of see it all play out. We did see the start of it. Plus all the zings will be on Sunday's episode as well. We also were informed that this upcoming eviction will be a double eviction night. We're getting a 2-hour episode, and it's going to be wild. I'm excited to see how this all plays out. Like a traditional double eviction, not like the one we had earlier with the Dire Fest. Other than that, we can jump into the feeds, and when the feeds finally came back, we found out who won HOH, and it was the comp beast, Michael. Michael wins HOH again. He has now one away from tying the all-time record for most comp wins in a season. He now has 8 wins. He is also one away from tying the HOH record. And if he gets 2 competitions going forward, he will break Janelle's record of 9 competitions. So he's on fire. He is on fire. Of all the competitions that he's competed in, I think he's competed in 13 competitions. He's won 8 of them. that is crazy, crazy stat for competition wins, and he's fully aware of this now at this point, where he knows it's a big target on him. He expects that he has to kind of win out in competitions going forward. So we'll see how this all plays out. We did get the feeds then, and then they went down again after that for Zingbot to come in and give the zings. And once they came back, no one really seemed happy. They did not like their zings very much. A lot of times, like, house guests will, like, enjoy their zings. I think only one person enjoyed their zings. Alyssa's was something to do with her being, like, dead weight and useless, and I think dumb, because he then also said, "Let me repeat so you understand." The thing is, she didn't get that part of it. Because she later told Michael, she was like, "Yeah," and then he repeated it, like, to make sure I heard it. And Michael later told Brittany, he's like, "Oh, I felt so bad," because he didn't repeat it so she would understand it. He literally was making a joke about how she wouldn't understand it. So I think her zing apparently was the best one, at least from what they were saying. Brittany's had something to do with her being boring, but also having crazy eyes. I don't know exactly what that was. Michael's was something about being like masks are optional, except when you have a face like his. Monty's was all about his bad impressions. Taylor enjoyed hers. Taylor's actually was something about her being cold-hearted, but she liked it. She was like, "Yeah, I kind of dig this one." Terrance was about how nobody knows who he is, something about like an underground DJ. And Turner's was about him being smelly and not showering, which, hey, look at that. We've got a new subscriber right there. Shh, we have a secret alliance. Don't tell anybody. But when you're watching this video back, you're going to see that. So Turner's was all about being smelly, which was a thing kind of from earlier in the season when he was a have-not. He wasn't showering and stuff like that. And when he was out in Dire Fest, I don't think he showered at all. So that was his zing. I'm looking forward to kind of seeing what they really are on Sunday and how they all played out, but we'll see. After that, other than that, I should say, Michael and Taylor actually met up for a quick little chat in the have-not room, and he pretty much said, like, he's like, "Look, I'm just going to try and use the one-on-ones to kind of pull some info. I already have the plan, and I'm going to kind of stick to it. The plan is as of right now, Alyssa and Terrance, and then maybe take a shot. There's no real backdoor necessarily. Only one person doesn't get to play in the veto. So as far as backdoors go, unless that one person doesn't play, it's not a real backdoor. But maybe they take a shot depending on what happens with the veto. Meanwhile, also Terrance and Monte, they kind of met up and they were like, "Look, we got to split up Michael and Brittany. And if we can split up Michael and Brittany, they can use the Kyle drama to kind of shine a light on, like, hey, this is why they should not win, because they held that information back and they used it for game." So right now, it's kind of an interesting play for Monte to be talking about the current HOH who hasn't made his noms and noms aren't locked yet, to be talking about taking a shot, because this is something that could come back on him later. But it's a thing. So Michael got his HOH room. Everybody was kind of hanging out. Taylor actually dipped earlier than everybody else. She kind of headed to the backyard to play cornhole by herself, but she used that as kind of a time to just kind of openly think out loud and talk about the game. She wants to go to the Final Four still with Michael, Brittany, and Monte. And she's kind of just running scenarios about what could happen and talking about how like she feels like she could win against Brittany. And she doesn't care how she gets there if Michael and Monte can get her there to that final 2 spot. She thinks she can really win against Brittany. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it all goes. We'll see how it all goes. The one-on-ones finally started real early in the morning today, but late into last night for them. Terrance was the first one up, and he pretty much told him flat out, he's like, look, I haven't really made a decision yet. I did promise Turner that I wasn't going to put him up, and Terrance went over, like, the worst recap of Dire Fest ever. It was so hard to listen to, but yeah, not really much came out of it. Alyssa was then up after him, and she actually revealed the pound to Michael officially, which Michael already knew that the pound existed. I don't think he actually knew the name the pound, but Alyssa like full on said like, yeah, it was called the pound, like because of Pooch or whatever. So that was kind of a thing, but otherwise, not really much came from that meeting as well. Brittany followed and they just kind of celebrated. They ran a million scenarios like they normally do. But he was pretty open with like, look, I want to get Terrance out, but he feels like Monte and Taylor might want to send Alyssa if he puts them up together. Brittany kind of assured him that like, no, Taylor wants Terrance out as well. So we'll see. We'll see. I think the plan right now is going to go forward. It's going to be Terrance and Alyssa up on the block. And if something crazy happens with the veto, maybe Monte. But I think he plans to stay with the promise he made to Turner about not putting him up. So we'll see how that goes. They did also say, it's like, man, it's weird that America hasn't voted or on something. Do you think there could be like a power coming in or what? And it's like, well, little do you know, they actually did have an America's vote and they voted to save Brittany. But that whole backstage twist got thrown out week 1, so it didn't matter. And they actually guessed, they're like, maybe America did vote on something already. Yeah, they did. Turner was the next one to head on into the HOH, and again, he kind of promised him, he's like, look, I'm not going to put you up. You don't have to worry. Turner kind of talked about how he is worried about feeling disconnected from the other group of leftovers. And Michael kind of tells him how he's worried about what Kyle will say in jury. Turner brings up that Kyle told him that Michael, Brittany, and Kyle had a final 3, which Michael's like, well, we talked about it, and like we talked before the leftovers, but after that we never really talked. Come on, Michael, you guys had a name and everything. You were called the Outsiders. It's one of the reasons why he felt comfortable sharing the whole cookout theory with you. Like, it was a thing, but of course Michael's not really going to admit that for any ammunition that Turner could probably use against them at some point. Meanwhile, what was happening outside was more interesting, to be honest. So Taylor and Monte were kind of whispering about like what could happen, and it was mainly about like, look, we got to split them up. It was kind of the same thing about, he was talking with Terrance about like, look, if we can split Michael and Brittany up, like that is a good thing, and we should try and do that as much as we can. Again, it's kind of weird for Monte to be saying this now when nominations haven't happened. So like there's a chance that you could be going up if this leaks to him. So maybe Monte should be careful with what he's saying, but we'll see. We'll see. Monte then actually made his way into the HOH room, and it was pretty much the same thing. He's like, hey, like, let's not get ahead of ourselves, but, you know, this should be pretty predictable. Alyssa, Terrance, they go up on the block. Michael's like, yeah, I don't want to say congratulations on Final 6 or anything yet, but hey. And they mainly talked about how he can try and justify his nominations to Alyssa and Terrance and make his speech kind of as jury-friendly as possible. So that was really their conversation. After that, Turner joined Taylor out in the tiki room while that conversation was happening when he was done with Michael. And this was kind of a funny little convo where Taylor was like, well, how'd it go? And he's like, I feel better. I feel better right now. And she's like, why? Like, he's like, I felt a little worried. And she's like, really? He's like, yeah, I have a lot that I regret. I did a lot of things I regret. He's like, it's like I was speeding and got in an accident. And the other person's like, hey, don't worry about it. I'm going to cover it. It was funny stuff. And then Taylor was the last one to head on in there. And again, it was pretty much the same thing where it's like, hey, Terrance and Alyssa, we throw them up and we should be good. So yeah, it seems like it's time to reheat the leftovers. Who's got a microwave? Put them on in there. Pop it in for a good 2 minutes, and you're good to go. Here's a little trick. If you're ever reheating some pizza in the microwave, put a little cup of water in there. It makes it so the crust doesn't get all hard. But yeah, it seems like it is going to be Alyssa and Terrance up on the block. Michael would rather Terrance go because he feels like he's more of a threat in the mental comms. They are speculating about the double, so they're keeping that in their head. Now, let's go into a little game theory action here, because if I'm Michael, even though you made the promise to Turner, I feel like the real move this week would be to get Turner or Monte out. I don't think you have to worry about Terrance, and I don't think you have to worry about Alyssa, especially with this double eviction coming up. And if they're already thinking that there's a double eviction, you have to kind of plan for the double eviction. Because here's the problem. Michael's HOH this week. He can't play in the HOH during the double. He would then probably need to win the veto depending on who wins HOH. If Monte wins HOH, I think he's taking a shot at Michael. If Turner wins HOH, I think he takes a shot at Michael. If Alyssa wins HOH, Michael. Brittany and Taylor are the only ones where I think both of them would rather keep Michael right now than take a shot at him. And they might just go with the whole Alyssa thing. So in the double, I could see it being Michael going. I could see it just being Alyssa and real easy. And then it's just a final 5 of former leftovers, which would be really interesting now after all these weeks and everything that's happened in the past few weeks, that we actually end up with a full leftover final 5. And they actually kind of succeeded in the end. But we'll see how this all plays out. It could be wild. It could go in many different directions. But as of right now, Terrance and Alyssa are going to be going up onto the block when nominations come through tomorrow, which they should be tomorrow. And after that, we'll see how everything goes. We'll see how everything goes. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below about Michael winning HOH, about the nomination plans, and going forward with the double eviction. Who are you hoping now wins HOH in the double, and what do you think their plans would be going forward? Also, big thank you to everyone who came out for the live watch along for the eviction episode last night. It was a lot of fun. We were live on here for the whole thing, and it's always a good time. It's always a good time hanging out with you guys with chat. I'm terrible at keeping up with it, I'll tell you that. There's so many of you, and the chat's flying by. I do my best, but it's always a lot of fun hanging out with you guys. If you are new here, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you never miss a video and you never miss a stream. If you made it all the way into this if you made it all the way to the end of this video, smash that like button. Also, you can find links to all my socials down below, including my Twitter and my Twitch, and also the Discord, which has been awesome to kind of see everybody in there chatting as well, and really just getting to know you guys more. It's been a lot of fun. So you can find all those links down below. Ignore what you want, follow what you want. Other than that, we will have the episode on Sunday to kind of see everything that happens. We'll have another update for you tomorrow on anything that might change overnight, because they're still up. Late into the night. But I think for the most part, we kind of have a good idea of what's going to be happening. But thank you guys for watching once again, and I will see you next time.